Oh man, look at those nicks. Someone was using them, I heard, for cutting up chicken bones, which these are not the correct knives to use for cutting up bones. That would be more of a, like, the big hatchet looking ones. Mallet?
Cleaver,
Mallet. Is
cleaver.
that right? Anyway, these are chef's knives. These are more for, like, vegetables. And, like, meat. Not bone. Not bone. So, I've had this whetstone soaking. I used to work in a kitchen. It was fancy Italian Americano. I followed a chef there from my first job when I turned 18, when I became a lunch lady at the university. And he went back to the Italian Americano kitchen, and I'm like, you know what? I'm really tired of having my shoulder looked over. I'm tired of having to take my piercings out and put spacers in because I'm front facing, which means I was interacting with the crowd. And having piercings is too brown, is too tribal. You don't want to do that. White supremacy says, hey, let's not look different. Let's not be different. If you're different, you get pushed out of the crowd. Ah, don't be different. Don't ask questions. Follow orders. Bodies made, babies made to fill factories and prisons because prisons is just free fucking labor. Slavery under a different name. So anyway, I worked at this kitchen. I started working there when I was like 19 or 20, I think. And I remember my most favorite application question was on that application for that restaurant. What book are you currently reading? That's such a good question. Such a good fucking question. I'm swishing this around in the water so I can get like the metal flakes off. This is going to be a long process. I'm gonna pop my knee up. Do you like my sarong? I found it in a thrift shop for like $1. This is comfortable for me. This is what, like... And I just think how sexualized this is when this is just like super comfortable sensory-wise. Anyway. Oh yeah, the restaurant. Followed the chef there. He was cool. He saw me through some rough times. He saw me through getting my first job when I was 18, getting my first apartment. Shit was crazy. You know. At the fancy restaurant, I think I applied to be a dishwasher, but I had training in front of house being the like salad and baking rolls and baking cookies was like the first job. And then I got tired of being front facing and I'm like, I need to be back of house. So I became the in-house baker, just baking cakes from boxes and adding, canned fruit and cream instead of water. And that was okay. And then I don't know what happened there. I think, oh, I do know. I remember one of my bosses started hitting on me because my lip piercing, this one, I put a sparkly ball on here and he just kept staring one day and he's like, did you change your lip piercing? And he was like older and had kids and I'm just like, I did. So I changed it back to something super not noticeable. And then another chef hit on me when I wore lipstick. And this is why I just stopped attempting to wear makeup at all unless I'm like doing a performance or just vibing with that. It's mostly just a vibe at this point. And he's like, oh my God, I just want to bend you over and kiss you. And I went to high school with his son. And his son was like older than me. We still talk. We didn't talk in high school. We talk now. So yeah. So that was really weird. So then I moved down to a different cafeteria on the university. There I was back of house doing bakery, doing salad stuff. I can, at some point show you how to cut a melon efficiently, but you have to have proper tools that are taken care of. These are not my knives. This is my knife. So this knife, oh my god, this knife was the first knife I bought. I went out of state with an ex-boyfriend. He's a current ex-boyfriend. Hold on, I gotta get balanced like a flamingo. And we saw an outlet store for Wusthof blades. They're German made. And I have been perusing to get my own knife at some point for the fancy job I had gotten at the fancy restaurant that I could like pay for, not just surviving. Well, at the time. It did get to a point where I was just surviving. I want to get like aggressive with this. So, I would recommend researching how to sharpen knives and learn from different ways, because I'm not sure if this way is proper, but I watch blacksmiths when I go to Ren fairs, but their wheels are going one direction. This is dragging it back and forth, so I'm actually blunting it, but really in a way I'm trying to get the blade down to the deepest divot. There we go. I want to say drivet. I don't think that is a word, but every word is made up. That is most definitely hands down the best line in the Marvel MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe. This stone has a divot in it because I got a hatchet, that's the smaller one of the axe that you can hold in your hand. Did you ever read that book as a kid? That book was traumatizing, but man did it prepare me for like so many different things. Someday I'm gonna have to do like a what's in my bag and show you like the wild shit that I keep in my bag, because I have been to 17 countries. I have hitchhiked close to 6,000 miles. I have been homeless in different parts of my life because of situations, and my mom not being the best of humans. Definitely should not have been a parent, but like, oh yeah, oh my god, can we talk about that? Oh my god, let's talk about this. So, I've been hanging out with my family, which means my maternal grandmother and her brother. Rhythmic. It's been really interesting building a relationship. I feel insanely blessed to be able to be doing this. I've gone completely blank. I think this is working. I know it's working. Goals in life. Stop apologizing for taking up space and existing. I do. This is how much space I take up. This is how much space I take up. It's a neutral fucking statement. Look, this is how much space I take up. Yep. That's a fact. That's a straight up fact. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing bad with that. There's nothing good with that. It just is. And that's really cool. Sometimes I like to stand in the shower and just repeat that over and over while the water runs over me. This is how much space I take up. I'm running the blade underwater so that we can get bits of the stone and also the like metal bits coming off of the blade. But at some point I need to show you how to skin a melon. Because I know a way that's really fun and really quick, but you have to have a really sharp knife, and these knives are not sharp and they catch on things, and that's dangerous. Dull blades are so much more dangerous than sharp knives. So starting to get thinner, which is good, which is what I want. I was trying to just get metal off, and now I'm trying to set the edge. I cannot give you like degree of angles because that doesn't make sense to me. Not in a 3D world. On paper it does. You know, tell me how to, go find an angle of this part of the triangle. I'll be like, okay, cool, I can do that. But this, I'm like, I don't know the angle of like, where's the flat? I'm guessing the stone is the flat. Anyway, it's a vibe for me. We just vibing. This movement reminds me of that scene in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang where they are human dolls so that they can rescue the children from the kingdom because the queen does not like children, which like, hey, I understand. And so she locks them in a dungeon under the castle while she and the king are actively trying to kill each other. It's really fucking weird. The children catcher is terrifying. Oh no. I have a feeling that's anti-Semitic, like, symbolism with, like, the really big nose and the big chin. Like, same with witches with, like, the big noses and the warts. Okay. If it feels racist, it's racist. Anyway, I watched Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I said that I wanted to watch it since Angela died, the main character, actress first name. Okay. Nice. And now the divets are not as noticeable. People would probably recommend that you count how many strokes you're doing so that it's even on both sides. I'm not doing that because the number that I would have to count to, I get lost with numbers, so they dance around in my head. It's really interesting. When people give me phone numbers, I'm just like, you gotta go real slow, because trying to change the concept of a number into a shape in my head, into a symbol on the keyboard, I'm just like, that takes processing power for me. Hold on. And then other people, like my partner, just vibes with numbers and just like knows and feels them, and I just think that is so fucking magical. We all have our gifts. I wish we just like stopped trying to convince ourselves that we have to suffer to succeed. Because we don't. That's just some bullshit. That's just some bullshit. Be happy now. The more happy you are now, the more like joy there is in the world. Sometimes I get caught up in like, maybe I should be worrying, maybe I should be more anxious, like, and I'm just like, yeah, but like the more anxiety there is, the more anxiety there is, and then more cortisol is pumping through my body, which is triggering other things. That's probably not good. Stress on the body is not great. So when I do remind myself to take breaths, I do. Relax your buttocks, drop your shoulders. There we go. So that cooking job, I learned so much because I went from being a dishwasher. I really always just wanted to be like a dishwasher or something super chill that I could just like zone out and do Tetris on the plates and then like send them through and be the most efficient. But they saw potential in me and that I always give like 130% until I'm burnt out, and it's not great. Also, trigger warning, because there's going to be a moment where I talk about some things that involve sharp things. So there's that. I'm a poet. And there was a poet that I admired that I actually have a quote written around my wrist. It says, "There's life after survival." And it is underneath a... Hi. Can you see it? Oh my god, turning your wrist this kind of direction gets kind of weird. There's a scar right there that actually used to be bigger. It's gotten like smaller over time. That he has a line in a poem, and I've listened to so many of his poems over time that I don't remember which ones because they're all just jumbled up. The ones that I really like, they just stick around, you know? Lines, not whole poems. Write it down. When you have a brilliant idea, write it down. And actually, in his poem, he says the opposite thing. He's like, and you will realize the brilliance you lost when you like didn't write it down when you said you would. So I remind myself, write it down. Write it down, write it down, write it down. So I have like pins all over the place and just like little note cards, and I have this big red box that I have all these ideas and I just throw them in there. Predictions, ideas, manifestations, just brilliant moments of brilliance, just good advice that I get, that I hear. I have a feeling at some point I'll be making those into an oracle deck because I have a stuffed animal. His name is Squabbles. And, my headphones just died. I'm gonna go plug those in and probably just keep sharpening. Actually, I need to go make the sandwich that I made like an hour and a half ago because I started doing dishes because I wanted to handle some really cute old Tupperware. But like, I got this bun at a Mexican bakery and then I put mayonnaise and bread and butter pickles on it with iceberg lettuce. I know it's just crunchy water, but I really like it sometimes. With sharp cheddar cheese from Aldi. That's like $3 and it's my fucking favorite because I love cheddar cheese. Like, I want cheddar cheese to be so sharp it cuts my mouth kind of situation, kind of people. With the tomatoes, the beefsteak tomatoes that I got shopping, that I got 25 pounds for $20, and I've been throwing the rotting ones along my fence line, so I know that like come eventually there's just gonna be tomato plants everywhere, and I'm hoping I can just be surrounded by tomato vines and sunflower seeds and just bliss. So I need to go eat this. And then we will continue once my headphones are charged. Also, I need to drink some tea that I made last night. I love you. We'll be back and we'll talk more story while I sharpen this knife. But hey, the progress is coming along. The divots are definitely not as noticeable. So like, hey, progress. You know, one step, one stroke, one thing at a time, one page, one word, one bird. Bird by Bird is a book, and if you're a writer and you're having trouble with like being like, oh my god, writing a book is so insanely overwhelming, I recommend reading Bird by Bird.